Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. And we've got like 7 different Shanae stories going on. We have a story where her Instagram was deleted. Then we find out it was actually hacked. Now it's back up. We'll discuss the turmoil surrounding one Shanae of this season of The Bachelor. And she is the villain the producers could only dream up. A beautiful blonde that appears one way to Clayton and appears another way to others. Chicks in the Office has a theory about how things will go down with her. We'll read some other comments. Do me a favor, follow me on Instagram at DNeals. Like this video an odd number of times. And don't forget, if you haven't already, to hit the subscribe button. All right, so let's get into it. Here we go. We've got Zachary reporting that her account was hacked. Let's have a listen.
A DM from Shanae's sister that her Instagram was actually hacked. Can't log in and she's trying everything she can to get back in. Asked producers and Instagram to help her. Her sister told me that Shanae is not a bad person, she just doesn't always say the right thing. She has been having a difficult time with all the hate she's been receiving, but now she's just kind of gotten used to it and taking everything with a grain of salt, hence the shrimp. Also, if you find Shanae's sister or any of her family members, please do not send them hate. Shanae put herself on the show, not her family.
Here's what I hate. I hate the portion of society. It's usually like, it's a very small group of people. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. The squeaky wheel of society are the people that think they can reach out to Shanae's sister, her dad, her friend. Those people are just horrible. Again, this is why I truly need to be creating the show Troll Patrol. I need to go up to these people and say, is your life that much in order? Like, is your room clean? Did you make your bed today? Are we just going to be reaching out to these villains? Now, I understand. People go, hey, an eye for an eye. We know how that works. Makes the whole world blind. I'm literally, and again, I don't say this with a pat on my back, I will be the person playing the violin as the ship goes down, because it just seems like society is really devolving into just a low IQ reptilian response to, well, I was hurt. Well, let me go attack them. Call it what you want, but I'm just sick and tired of it, to be honest. So some people had posted, they saw that her account was gone. They thought what happens normally with people is that they get so much, they get so much hate that they just decide to deactivate their account. It doesn't mean they're deleting the account. It's like, all right, the account's vanished. We know Rachel Lindsay had to do this after people were attacking her following Chris Harrison's firing. It's just like, it's good for your mental health to get rid of it, but it's like, do you really need to do it? Whether she deactivated it, whether her account was hacked, which, by the way, if your account was hacked, can we just get a 2-factor authentication process? It's really easy. You shouldn't be getting hacked. I can't tell you how many people I know whose Instagram stories are like, join my Bitcoin scam, and it's like, clearly you were hacked. All right, so here are some of the comments I'm going to read for you guys. Someone said, probably the best for her. What did she think was going to happen? There's lovable villains who can't control their eyebrows, and then there's attacking an entire group of people's mental differences, lying to everyone and laughing about it in her in the moments. Shanae clearly wanted the villain edit. I'm not going to feel bad that she got it. And those are the types of people that I don't think I've ever had like any real negativity pushed their way or been shamed or ostracized. Is Shanae redeemable? Well, that's yet to be seen. We'll probably find out in the Women Tell All. But, the idea that these people are set up to really be the most rotten versions of themselves. And I don't know. Again, call it what it is. I don't see ultimate good. I don't see ultimate evil. I don't think even the worst villains on the shows, Jamie's, Yosef's, I truly don't believe they're horrible people. I think they have their own defense mechanism that doesn't give in to giving up an apology or whatever the case may be. I don't think they're horrible people. Might not leave my kids with them. Might not want to leave my kids with Shanae or Cassidy, but maybe they do just fine. You know what I mean? I think it's just such a low IQ way of thinking that these are just rotten humans. They got what they deserved. Did they? Did they get what they deserved? You know what I mean? Ugh. Here's a response someone said. Bachelor villains in Shanae. All right, super unpopular opinion on the sub, but I said it after the episode 2 weeks ago, and I'll say it after last night's episode. Shanae is giving. Yeah, you totally hate her, and she's a total Looney Tune, but that's literally the point of the villain, someone for the audience to hate. That way, when they inevitably get the shoe, it's way more delicious. For me, Shanae is up there with Corinne and Olivia from Ben's season. Which one? Olivia from Ben's season wasn't a villain at all. She's a lovely person. I find that, that's my opinion. I find the show way more enjoyable when I'm not trying to play morality police. Like, no crap calling out someone's ADHD is wrong. And Shanae is a complete a-hole. But that couldn't be any more clear. No one is pretending she isn't. But are her antics good TV? Hell yeah. I find Shanae to be a way more engaging, enraging, and successful villain than Crystal, Queen Victoria, and whoever the hell it was on Peter's season. Shanae is just generally and obviously unhinged, and her success and her bizarre obsession, hatred with Elizabeth is hysterical. You know, the person's got a good point. It's like we don't know Shanae as a human, but on the show, she's doing what they kind of wanted her to do. Is that make her a useful idiot, or is she just having fun with it, or is she bored, or is it a way she copes dealing with other beautiful women like her competing for a guy on a show? It's an unnatural situation. We don't know. The person says, not saying Shanae is a great person, and if anyone acted like that in my real life, I would for sure call them out. However, this is reality TV. I'd be so bored just watching all these girls have lovey-dovey kumbaya moments all early season and no Shanae. She makes the early weeks a shit show that's so fun to watch. It almost makes you think you should be Venmoing her for your own entertainment costs. You know what I mean? I'm kind of saying that in jest, but yeah, look, you know, what are you going to say? I'm just frustrated and quite frankly annoyed at the people that like try to take matters into their own hands. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? You going to cancel her from Peloton sponsorships that she gets? Look, I understand. There needs to be a teachable moment here. But the idea of cancel versus counsel, the thing people say, again, call it Dave Neal's ranting here. All right? Don't make me get it going. We'll start it. But the thing that people say, right, when it comes to, it's like, well, that's the consequence they got for their actions. And again, consequences are good, but if there are teachable moments, like if I'm on a baseball team and the third baseman lets the ball go through his legs versus like keeping his butt down and catching the ball, yes, I could kick him off the team. That's a teachable hey, that's a consequence. You committed an error, E5, I'll kick you off the team. Or also, we could take a couple extra ground ball practices, teach him some better structure, say, this is why you committed that error, and this is what you need to know. Does Shanae know how much she has affected the neurodiversity community? Maybe she does, or maybe she's ignorant because she doesn't have a close friend who thinks that way, or a family member to break it down and say, listen, people's brains work differently, and it's super insulting to think that yours is the right and only way in X, Y, and Z. So I like to think people are redeemable more often than not. It doesn't mean you don't touch the stove, get burnt. It's kind of like with the Brendan Scanzano thing where people go, hey, he needed to be taught a lesson. And my thought is, couldn't a conversation be a lesson enough? Couldn't that be strike one for somebody? Maybe not. Maybe we just need to have everyone, poke each other's eyes out. I'm just very frustrated by it all, to be honest. Here's what Gabby had to say about it. This is great. Nice little response, because, of course, Shanae called Gabby a 12-year-old cheerleader. We know Gabby's a NICU nurse with plenty of talents outside of the cheer world. And here's what Gabby's response was.
And if you're going to call me a bitch, make sure you put It's Britney in front of it. It's Britney, bitch.
It's Britney, bitch. There, she's doing her thing. She's got the cheerleader energy all day long. What else do we have here? So Robert Mills, the creator of Bachelor, or at least one of the producers, whatever he is, he responded to people saying, hey, you got to do better. They said, Dear Fleiss, Robert Mills, and Bachelor, and whomever else has any influence on how the rest of the season is going to go. We get it. Shanae's your villain. We all hate her, but please, for the whole ADHD community, stop airing her comments about Elizabeth's ADHD. And he responded, thank you, noted and understood. We can always do better. And, he has a lot of snarky comments, so that's kind of a nice thing to see. I think we always say crack an egg to make an omelet. I think sharing Shanae, assuming she wasn't provoked, and the producers like, yeah, go in on the ADHD thing. If Shanae's ignorance led her to not understand the neurodiversity community, of course, we've talked a lot about it with the previous season and some other people that have brought it up. If Shanae's that ignorant, air it. I say air it. Let us talk about it. Let us have the discussion, and all that. If she doubles down on women tell all and be like, you know what? F people with ADHD, then we have another problem, right? But we're watching like a sort of vacuum sealed situation, where they're in the house, they don't have any contact with the outside world. These villains don't necessarily always know how bad they're coming off. But hacking their account, forcing them to, writing to their friends and family. This next slide is going to be sickening to see. So Cassidy, as you guys know, I've been in some contact with Cassidy, right? She came off pretty harshly at first and said, hey, I kind of thought you'd see the funny side of me as a villain, but they only got the negative side. So here's a DM she shared. And again, this is a perfect example where Troll Patrol could knock on some doors, show this person's parents, siblings, daughters. Sometimes it's an adult. I remember we had a guy trolling my fiance because my fiance posted something in support of a political candidate she had back in 2016, and this guy had posted, "Hey, you're not beautiful enough for me to care about your political opinion," on my fiance's page. That's what he posted, and we kind of went down a rabbit hole. Like, I don't like to do this. I try to just avoid it. But we went down a rabbit hole and saw that this was a guy who coached college football, and he had a teenage daughter. And the teenage daughter ended up taking the guy's side and saying he can say whatever he wants. And it was really sad to see that misogyny can work in not just amongst men, but women as well. And this guy eventually did apologize to us, but it took a long conversation with this troll that I talked to, where I was like, hey man, You might think you can comment hateful stuff because we look like we have everything going on in the world, but like, I'm going to the mechanic to go get my oil changed in my car. I got to run by the bank. I got all these other, I have a cavity I need fixed. I'm just like you and everybody else. And when you humanize yourself to others, they usually start to feel like, oh man, you're right. I was kind of just like, I didn't think you'd respond. Like every troll you ever talk to, well, I didn't think you'd respond, this and that. And it's like, well, shame on you for thinking you could talk to me that way. I have to set boundaries here. And it's one of those things. You might fix one person's point of view, but there's 50,000 lined up behind them, and it's sort of futile, and it might just be the way humanity works. It might just be the way the anonymity, the lack of sort of face-to-face contact works within the Reddit community, within the DM community. But I'm not opposed to a roast. I'm not opposed to roasting people. So here's what Cassidy said. Someone wrote to Cassidy, said, I'm surprised they let you go on camera looking like that. Literally the greasiest person ever. Do they not have nice showers in that house? Also certain that your dad was not proud to see any of that. Now, I know Cassidy's father had passed away. It was a sort of a part of her story in the last couple of years. And this person said, also certain that your dad was not proud to see that. Thankfully, he doesn't have to see any of it because he's dead. Thanks for the concern. With a great night. Thanks for the concern. Have a great night, you absolute psychopath. The person said, I know. I'm sure he felt so proud. Once again, he cannot feel because he's deceased. You're going to want to tread lightly. The person said, you know what I'm saying, LMAO. You're disgusting and he would be ashamed. And then Cassie replied, are you okay actually? Well, good night. And then, of course, when you see the comment sections, now people are going to say, oh, no one should be treated like that. When in fact, even if it's at a lower scale, Reddit does the exact same thing to these contestants. I know Bachelor contestants usually cover up the names of people who harass them when they post about it, but sometimes I'm like, don't. Let them be reported and blocked by other users. I'm sure they'd get some hate too, which is probably why they do it. But God, sometimes people need a taste of their own medicine to have some basic empathy. You know what? I'm willing to say right now that I would literally take the time and effort to contact people like this and just reach out, not to cancel them, but just to reach out and get on the phone with their parent or their daughter and be like, here are the receipts of something your kid or your mom, it could be somebody's mom. We have no idea the ages of these cretins, but just be like, hey, just so you know, we're not trying to get you fired from your job bagging groceries or whatever multi-level marketing thing you're selling, you know what I mean? Whatever skinny tea you're doing, whatever it is, we're not trying to get you fired. Okay, I'm not trying to cut into your paycheck. I'm just trying to shame the shit out of you right now. I think that would be good. Troll Patrol, what do you guys think? So many other slides I haven't gotten to today, but Shanae's Instagram is back up, so she's back up and at 'em. Here's what the chicks in the office think's going to happen with Shanae. There's no spoilers here, just a theory.
I think Clayton's going to fuck Shanae.
Yeah, like I think like in like 2 weeks.
I think Clayton's going to fuck Shanae.
Like I think she's going to come to his room.
Yes, and he's going to do it because he's a boy. And she's an attractive blonde who's putting it all out there, and he's not seeing how she's acting to the other girls, and she's really laying it on thick, and he's gonna have a moment of weakness, and he's gonna fuck her, and all hell is gonna break loose.
Right. Okay.
And that's when he goes to church.
And here's
It's a theory.
Here's why I agree with you. This whole time we've been seeing previews where he says, I was intimate with both of you, there is I would say a 0% chance that happens at the time that they want us to think that it happens.
Right.
That has to happen like in the next couple weeks.
You're saying like you think that happens before Fantasy Suites?
Absolutely.
I think Clayton's gonna fuck Shanae.
Yeah, like I think
right,
like
so
in like
then-
2 weeks.
Okay, so then it's repeated. All right, well, sorry for the extreme words there, but very interesting. And here's Shanae. There she is, eating all the shrimp. And on our final slide, we'll show that we've got Bachelor Data, our good friend Susanna, doing a shrimp analysis. You know, we love a good pie chart. We'll call it a shrimp chart of how shellfish Shanae may actually be. What do you think, folks? All right, but either way, look, we have to remember, I know my comment section, and by the way, I do want to give you guys a literal A+ for the way you have communicated in the comment section, both on my YouTube and on Facebook, regarding the Brendan Quinn Scanzano story. I'm not asking people to agree with me. I'm not asking with people to accept his apology. None of that. The way you agreed, the way you disagreed, the way you gave each other grace and had that conversation, you guys are the ones that I rely on when we're playing the violin when the Titanic's going down. You give me hope. I appreciate all of you guys. We have so much more content coming your way. I've been late today on getting stories up because I had to help my fiance with several large auditions that she had, which she crushed. So that's hey, you got to be a good fiance before you're a power recapper. Love you guys so much. Thanks for all the support you've given me, and we'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye now.